Welcome, my friends, to another It's Vinylly Mine, our Patreon pick. Yes, that's right, our patrons voted, and so today we are looking at the vinyl release, the original 1981 release of American Pop, the Ralph Bakshi animated classic, and we're looking at this soundtrack to it. Now, this isn't the score, this is the soundtrack, so this has the various pop songs on it, which we'll take a look at it in a minute. This is MCA 4131. Don't get confused by the MCA 1542. I wish I was more of an expert. I try, folks. I really try on vinyl. I'm not quite sure why this got pushed as MCA 1542 because looking it up, it shows more online as being the 4131. So if someone out there knows and can clear that up for me, I would love the information because I'm always looking to learn as I dive into these vinyls, especially the classic one. This is the MCA pressing Gloversville. The Gloversville pressing, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. I also discovered something new with this release as I was digging up information on it. But enough of me babbling. Let's drop the needle and take a closer look at the American Pop soundtrack release on vinyl from 1981. So here we are, American Pop. It's that poster and that wonderful Ralph Bakshi art. I love the American Pop logo at the top. I really enjoy that quite a bit. That retro feel to it. It just gives it that extra special character. And talk about characters. We've got all kinds of animated characters here, including Jimi Hendrix. I mean, it's just a plethora of different famous artists, or drawn in that style that Ralph Bakshi is known for. So I really dig that quite a bit. See, now it says here MCA 5201. So I got like all kinds of numbers on this vinyl, and but still great artwork for a really great animated, mature more adult geared animated film, which we did a podcast on in the Spoiler Room. You can check it out on our Spoiler Room podcast channel as well. So let's take a look at the back of it. And here we are again, that wonderful American Pop title at the top. And our listing, side A, here you go. Hell's is for Children, Pat Benatar. You got Big Brother and the Holding Company, Summertime, Mamas and the Papas, Peter, Paul, and Mary. I mean, these are some of the classic top names from the era, previous as well as current when this film was released. Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix Experience. Wonderful rendition, the Dave Brubeck Quartet. And this still sounds wonderful. This pressing is, we won't go how old it is because I'm almost that old. But yes, 1980, 81. It's that old and it still sounds wonderful. And here we have the credits of who arranged this album, and then a couple of stills, again, featuring that wonderful signature Ralph Bakshi animation. And then we've got our movie credits here down at the bottom, and again, the identifiers for the vinyl. So not a whole lot. It's not a gatefold at all. So unfortunately, it is not. But, it's still, beggars can't be choosers. And I was happy I found this at a thrift store. Now, check this out. MCA label record. We've got our standard track listings on both sides. Again, it's saying 5201. And so many different numbers on it. I definitely would love some clarity on it. Now, what's interesting is, let me see if I can find it on here. Maybe it's on the other side. There is a logo on here, and I will try to get there, you can barely see it, but there's a logo there identifying the pressing company that did the pressing for this. And I didn't realize they kind of did that because I was like, well, what is this ID, And so that is what we've got here as far as our American Pop. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, I'll let you know what I thought of their track listing, as well as give you a little bit more information about this album. So stay tuned. Hey everyone, you want to help us decide what we review here on It's Vinylly Mine? Then head on over to www.patreon.com/specialmarkproductions. It's our Patreon page where we have 3 great tiers for you to join. If you join our top tier, you get early access to all the videos we post on YouTube. Plus, you get to participate in a poll to decide on what we review on It's Vinylly Mine, and you get a poll to decide what the VIP episode will be for the month exclusively for our patrons. We got a lot of great content there, so head on over there and we hope to see you soon. Now, as you can imagine, folks, not all the music that was featured in the film is on this vinyl. I mean, the sheer volume of music in American Pop really could have put on like 3 discs, right? So this is just kind of the best of, I think, or the ones that they were able to get the rights to release on the vinyl. And Purple Haze, for me, still out of all of these, the Jimi Hendrix Experience. I love Jimi Hendrix quite a bit. And right next to it is the Doors version of People Are Strange. It is great version of it on here, and original recordings that all sound, as I mentioned before, great on this pressing. Now, according to Ralph Bakshi, what he wanted to do at the end of the film was play Lynyrd Skynyrd's Freebird, but the producers chose instead Bob Seger's Night Moves to play at the end and over the credits at the end of the film. So I thought that was an interesting choice because, man, Freebird, right? And this does not include any tracks either from the score, which was recorded by Lee and composed by Lee Holdridge, who produced this album. And apparently that they were able to get the licensing of all this music for less than $1 million because of Ralph Bakshi's reputation. But due to the licensing and music clearance issues, they weren't actually able to release this on home video until 1998, like 17 years later from when the film was made. So again, licensing, throwing an interesting twist into soundtracks and releases and such that still are battles today for some filmmakers, or for those fans of Beavis and Butthead. You'll know that as well. So, I mean, American Pop, folks. It is an interesting film. It is a great soundtrack. If nothing else, you watch it not only for Ralph Bakshi's animation, but for a wonderful soundtrack with some very popular songs in it that will take you back. But again, I mean, it is older, so some people may not be turned on to it. But I'm going to say, if you like any classic rock type music, you're going to want to check this out to see how that music and animation marry together so well, thanks to Ralph Bakshi. So, American Pop, yeah, this is a great release. I'm happy to have found it in a thrift store. I'd love to get a score release, but I don't think they ever released the score on vinyl. But check it out, folks. If you like those artists that are on this album, it's worth picking up if you ever run across it at a thrift store or secondhand store or a record store. So, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you, my patrons out there, for picking this. There's a poll out there as well, and if you want to help us decide what to pick here on our Patreon, on our It's Vinylly Mine, head on over to our Patreon. We've got polls up there where we ask you what records you would like us to cover from our collection. So check that out. I appreciate you watching, and until next time, remember, as always, it's not yours, it's Vinylly Mine, and I'll catch you on the flip side.